News.
And this is KOMO News Radio, where the time is now 8:04. That means it's time again, as we do every 10 minutes on the force, to head over to the Dubin Law Group Traffic Center and check the roads with Tama Fulton.
Good evening. We have in Tukwila, it looks like part of a tire obstructing the roadway on westbound Highway 518, just west of International Boulevard. It's in the left center lane, and so you want to use caution approaching that area. Traffic lights not working at in Auburn, Highway 164 in both directions at M Street Southeast. It's being treated now as an always stop. Traffic is slowed to stop and go in both directions. And in Seattle, traffic lights not working along 35th Avenue Northeast between Northeast 65th Street and just before Northeast 95th Street. You want to treat those intersections as an always stop. Our next KOMO traffic at 8:14.
All right, thanks for that, Tama. Now it's time to head over to the KOMO Forecast Center. I'll give you a hint. It's going to be hot. Shannon O'Donnell will tell us all about it.
Well, still some pretty decent sleeping weather, as we call it around here overnight, but it's not going to stay that way for long. We've got some warm days and some warm nights ahead as we head toward the end of the week, and a heat wave starts to push into western Washington. We'll ramp up into the mid to the upper 80s on Wednesday afternoon. That's a sign the heat is moving in, and it gets more extreme from there. Highs well into the mid to the upper 90s on Friday. Could even see spots right at 100 degrees on the east side and in Thurston County south toward the Oregon state line on Friday. In the KOMO Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell.
And I just want to thank my mother for sending me that little Arctic cube that will help keep me cool. Right now, it's still kind of warm out there, too. 71 in Tacoma, 68 in Everett, 74 in Seattle.
Stay connected, stay informed. The news you need now on KOMO News 1000, FM 97.7.
8:06 now at KOMO News. Good evening, I'm Ryan Harris with your top stories from the KOMO 24/7 News Center. There's a few exceptions, but otherwise Washington State employees and workers for King County and the city of Seattle will soon be required to have a COVID vaccine shot.
Governor Jay Inslee says most state government workers have until October 18th to get fully vaccinated or lose their jobs.
Now that means you essentially have to have your last vaccination by October 4th, depending on which particular vaccine you take. And as we know, you have to take 2 doses of the Moderna and Pfizer product.
He made the announcement alongside the King County executive and the mayor of Seattle, who are putting the same rules into place for county and city employees. Also included in this vaccine mandate are people who work for private healthcare companies. Groups that object to vaccines have already promised to sue. There will be exceptions for people who have medical reasons or religious objections to vaccines. Charlie Harger, KOMO News.
Republicans are not happy with these new mandates. State Representative J.T. Wilcox and State Senator John Braun, the leaders for their party in each house, suggest using incentives instead. King County Councilwoman Kathy Lambert says they weren't even informed that the county executive was going to issue such a requirement.
I think it's important that the executive branch work with the legislative branch more closely on these kinds of things.
The state, King County, and the city of Seattle have all issued those vaccine requirements for employees. The governor's vaccine mandate only applies to state employees within the executive branch. Those that work for independent agencies will have to check with their bosses. Department of Natural Resources and the Secretary of State's office both say they are considering a requirement. The insurance commissioner and state auditor say they will mandate vaccines for their employees. Now, the latest coronavirus numbers from state health show more than 1,800 new cases, but the department warns it could include 260 that were double counted. It's also possible we won't see the counts from the weekend backlog until tomorrow, which is what happened last week when Tuesday's new case total was 5,000, but it was several days added up. There are now another 400 people in the hospital. 9 more Washingtonians have died. We're still hanging at just above 53% of the state's total population now fully vaccinated. Grocery workers in Seattle will continue to receive COVID-related hazard pay for at least another month. City council members have delayed a vote that might have ended the temporary extra $4 an hour.
They continue to face health and safety concerns on the front lines in grocery stores.
Teresa Mosqueda and the rest of the council will revisit the issue after their August recess. Fire departments around the state are dealing with a labor shortage. Seattle Chief Harold Scoggin says they just started training their latest class, but it's not enough.
39 new hires. Back in February, we had 39 more, but that's only Seattle. All of the departments in King County and around the state are hiring.
So his department has teamed with North Seattle College to offer a degree in fire sciences. He says after completing the 2-year program, a new recruit could start out making more than $70,000 a year as a firefighter. Crazy morning in Renton this morning when firefighters had to confront not only a burning house, but a man firing a gun out an upstairs window. Assistant Fire Chief Pat Paulek says the dual threat slowed firefighting efforts.
This was a unique situation for the simple fact that because of the subject in the home had been firing shots, obviously we wanted to make sure that our crews were safe.
Police say the man barricaded himself inside the house in the Fairwood neighborhood around 4 a.m., then shot at arriving officers. The man apparently then set the house on fire. Officers evacuated other family members. The suspected shooter eventually surrendered, and firefighters doused the flames. Miraculously, after all of that, no one was hurt. 8:10 now at Como News. Time for a Beacon Plumbing sports update with Como's Bill Swartz. The Hawks and Huskies inch closer to real football games with actual fans.
Only a mock football game Sunday, but Seattle players loved the energy of fans in the stadium again. It was only about 1/5 full. Big defensive lineman Poona Ford scooped up a fumble and scored. Russell Wilson drew some big cheers on his 40-yard pass to DK Metcalf.
So the line did a great job, a lot of protection in there. DK on that deep go ball was pretty amazing. You had some other key plays in there too as well that were really sweet. Chris Carson ran it well.
Receiver Penny Hart suffered a minor ankle injury. Safety Jamal Adams and left tackle Dwayne Brown did not participate. It's week 2 at Washington Husky football camp. The Dogs' starting quarterback, Dylan Morris, looks forward to a full 12 games.
A regular season, the full games, all that. I think the team's going to be really hungry, getting those 4 games too, and then missing those last potential 2, all that, the Pac-12 championship. Left a kind of sick taste in our mouth.
The Dogs open at home September 4th against Montana. Seattle Mariners went 4-6 on the road trip Sunday, avoiding a New York Yankees sweep with a 2-0 victory. The M's launch a homestand tomorrow night against Texas. Sports at 10 and 40 after the hour. Bill Swartz, Como News.